Happy Thursday! I hope you guys are loving this group. I'm having a blast. Like, I love, love, love these recipes, and I'm super excited that I get to share them with you. So, as most of you know, I grew up vegetarian, dabbled in being vegan, and now I've landed in the pescatarian world, which means I don't do any meat aside from fish. So, I thought that it'd be fun to just share a few things that I've learned along the way, especially in this clean eating journey. And so, I mean, why not share the love? Spread the love. So I'm not saying you have to be vegetarian, but you know, there are some really good options in the veggie world. And this is, I mean, a lot of it's soy based. So some people do have problems with soy. So I want to preface that because in the vegetarian world, it's like you do beans or you do soy. Like that's a lot of it. There's pea protein and a lot of other types of protein out there too. I actually just started the house is falling. I just started a brand new nutrition only program, and I learned a ton of things with it about healthy living in a vegetarian type lifestyle. So I'm just gonna share a few tips. Hey Katie. Let's see. So I was gonna sit here and like cook a meal and do all this stuff and be super fancy, but I feel like it's nice to just show you the nitty gritty. And of course we picked like the super he's listening to a song. Sorry, I get distracted, Mom. But of course in this army lifestyle that, as Katie well knows, that we lead, I had like this plan, that's gonna happen here, this, the blah, 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 whatever. But my husband's out of town, so we're eating far less food, less meal planning, like less meal prepping, because there's less bodies here to eat it. So one meal lasts us a lot longer. So I don't necessarily need to cook. I still have leftovers from when we grilled. So anyway, that aside, I'm just gonna show you some fun things. The number one thing with any type of vegetarian food is to check your protein, because that's a pretty easy thing to skip. You're like, oh, it's a veggie burger or a veggie hot dog or, you know, veggie chicken or whatever, so it's fine. But it's really easy to find veggie proteins that are under sorry, dog's trying to eat the food that's left over on the table, that are under 10 grams of protein. And that's a big deal, because when you're trying to get a substantial protein source, you need to have at least 10 grams of protein or more. So that's something that I always check when I'm grabbing food. So, or you can even check the serving size. So this is one tofu brand that I will buy. I am not a person that likes to spend a lot of money. I am definitely one that looks for some sales. I'm not as good as some people I know. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Ashley, if you watch this. But I'm not going to sit there and buy the, you know, super amazing tofu, because we go through two packages in one meal, just because we have two boys and, you know, you got to make muscle somehow, right? So this actually only has 7 grams of protein. So I would just need to adjust my serving size to make sure I'm getting enough protein. Sydney, off the table. My house is exploding. I'm doing a video. But another thing, while I have this on here, this says right on it, which I'm sure you can't read it, it says the tofu is made from soybeans that were not genetically engineered. So that's something I always look for too. This is, I didn't look on this one. There it is. This is one of my favorite brands, Gardein. So these are just veggie chicken strips. That pesto recipe, I love, love, love. I make it, I love to make it. Last year we had so much basil, and it was so wonderful because I can make pesto all the time. But it's just a foil packet, and you have like some cheese and chicken and pesto with some tomatoes, and it's so good. Highly, highly recommend it. If you haven't made it yet, make it. It's so good. But I use these chicken strips. Super easy. And again, so you're just gonna look on the back. It's a lot of protein, or a lot of label reading in the vegetarian world. But protein, 15 grams. So that's perfect. So you can have a normal serving size and you're good to go, because it has a high enough protein content. Plus it's non-GMO. This is perfect for vegans, so meaning you don't do dairy or any eggs or any other animal byproducts. You can see it says vegan at the top, which you can't really see that. Dairy-free, kosher, and plant-powered protein. So that's another one. Boca burgers, these are pretty good. They have a lot less of the processed junk in them. That is another thing to be aware of. In clean eating, in that clean eating world, you want something that's 5 ingredients or less. So it becomes a little bit of a balancing act in the vegetarian world, because you want to make sure you're getting enough protein, and you want to make sure that you're eating enough food and that you're getting enough nutritional value while trying to eat clean. So it's all a balancing act. That's what life is, right? And especially in a healthy eating world, you're trying to find the balance, you know, between giving yourself enough moderation and at the same point, you know, getting enough veggies, because veggies it's a real thing. You want to eat more veggies than pretty much anything else on your plate. Veggies are free. And so that's a big thing, to find that balance between, you know, eating your protein source, eating your carbs, eating veggies, fruits, all those things. There's a beautiful balancing act, which is one of the reasons I love the meal plans that we as the leaders of this group follow, because it organizes and makes things so simple. You're like, I need this many, you know, this much protein and this many vegetables. And it gives you that even keel of that balancing act. So anyway, I can talk forever. So this package is open. Corbin loves hot dogs. So this is also one of my favorite brands by Light Life. They're called Smart Dogs. Same thing. So non-GMO. I love this little butterfly thing. Makes it super easy to see. So no genetic modification in the soybeans. So it's a big deal, because you can do all kinds of research, but genetically modified soybeans, especially, soy is in pretty much everything. It's even in plastic. Like, it's in everything. So the less amount of GMOs you can get, the better off you are. Basics of that story. You can totally do your own research. And then I wanted to just show, we always keep Zevia in our house. My husband loves some soda, let me tell you. So I finally got him hooked on something other than the dark pops that have all kinds of other stuff. I don't know, soda pop, depends on where you are in the country. I've tried really hard to go to soda. But this is it's crazy. So this is cola, which it's also non-GMO, by the way. There it is, cola. And you pour it and it's like clear. It looks like lemon lime. Every single time I pour it, I'm like, is this really like Coke? What is this? But it tastes just like Coke. Super good. And then something I recently discovered, I don't know if you've heard of Truly or Spiked Seltzer. This one I just found, called White Claw. It's literally just sparkling water with alcohol. So there's like a low amount of sugar, but there's not a whole lot. And it's super wonderful. I'm a big wine drinker. I love Moscato, super sweet. And so I have like a glass or two and I feel kind of sluggish and crappy. And that hangs with me the next day if I drink, alcohol in general. On pop, okay. So your team pop, who's soda? We gotta have a soda. But so anyway, so this is it's really good. I was a huge skeptic on any kind of sparkling water. I wouldn't do it. I just thought it was gross. And so then I tried it and I was like, this is really gross. However, after you kind of cut out the ton of sugar in your life, you don't really crave it as much. And so then it became something I enjoyed. And so now I love sparkling water. I will drink it all day, every day, because I limit myself on the amount of processed sugars and refined sugars and all that junk. And so I think that's what's helped me, like cleaned out my system and it cleaned your palate. So you're like, oh, this tastes good. But anyway, this is delicious. It also has alcohol, which makes anything taste better, right? So those are just my fun tips I wanted to share. I guess one thing. So tofu, I know a lot of people don't cook with tofu because it's not something that is like, you don't have it at every restaurant. It's becoming more popular, I think, as vegan and vegetarianism like kind of creeps up there. So that's why I like to talk about it. So tofu, what I do, I would open this package and just drain out. It's like full of water. You can like see see it. It's full of water. That's what keeps it fresh. So dump out all the water. I like to cut it, like it'll come in literally a block. And so I cut it in like 2 or 3 long way sections. That way, because the smaller the section, the crispier you can get it. And I love to bake it. I'm sure if you have like one of those grill covers, you could easily put it on the grill, just like an oven. I'm a huge person, just put it in the oven and forget about it. Grills, I try really hard. I've gotten so much better. I can remember when I didn't know how to turn on the grill. Yeah, that was this girl. How do you push a button? Why isn't it working? That aside, so have your 3 pieces, and you're gonna just like wrap them in paper towels or use towels, and then put a heavy object and just let it sit, because then you're gonna soak out all of the extra water. And so when you're soaking out the extra water, that also helps them get crispy, because they're more like, I'm gonna say moist. I know everybody hates that word. Okay, just a second, Christine. So that's gonna make them more dry, and then just cut them up in smaller pieces, throw them in the oven at like 350, bottom shelf. That helps them get nice and crisp. And that's when, and then you'll flip them like halfway through. So do it about 15 minutes on one side and then about 10 minutes on the other side. I throw like garlic, onion powder, whatever fun seasonings. Typically salt-free is what I aim for. I love Mrs. Dash. Mrs. Dash is good. Just got so many different flavors. So yeah, and then it's super good. I'll sometimes make like reduction soy sauce, or with liquid amino, something like that. That's super fun. Or just have it plain. You can make your own barbecue sauce. You can put it in a salad. Like, tofu is super versatile. Other options to avoid soy. And that's kind of tough. That's honestly one of the reasons I do fish, because I like to have that extra option. There are a lot of they're coming out with a lot of different options. So as far as like veggie burgers and things like that, there are a lot more black bean based burgers. Corn, it's Quorn, I believe is how you spell it. That is actually like a mushroom based, which sounds super wild, but it's a mushroom based protein. So that's another one. There's a ton of pea protein. I mean, obviously our unicorn crack is made from pea protein. So there's a lot of different things out there. You just kind of have to do a lot more searching for soy-free, because it's easy and it's cheap, and people don't want to spend, that super high price tag to get, the same quality. Or, well, I won't go into that quality. I wouldn't say quality is meat, but there's that's a whole nother flip side, because then you have hormones and all kinds of things and the meat side of things. So it's all about finding the balance that works in your life. So positive mind, positive life. But I would say beans. Beans are probably the next best option in the protein world. But beans, you have to be careful, because if you are doing meat, then beans are kind of considered more of a carb. So if you are going strictly vegan, then I would definitely say go like beans and everything. You can do garbanzo beans and black beans and kidney beans and whatever beans. They're amazing, and you can make them into different things too. Yeah, the corn, their stuff's really good too. I mean, they have like everything, but then again, it's finding that balance, because then you read through the ingredient label and you're like, is this crazy processed and things like that. So it's all about what works for you and your system and in your life. So I don't think there's a right or a wrong. I just wanted to come and share some of my fun tips and what I've learned, and however many years I've been vegetarian/pescatarian. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any more questions, drop them below, shoot me a message, whatever. If I don't know the answer, I can always find it out. So have a good night and enjoy the recipes.